Dazed, Master Chief picks himself up from amidst the rubble and checks on the safety of his fellow Spartans before heading for the Keystone testing room. There, he finds Miranda, who informs him that 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢 has fled with the Keystone. He chases after her, but is stopped in his tracks by Vanek and Riz, who hold Kai hostage at gunpoint. Master Chief tries to explain 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲's crimes and the truth about the Spartan program to the two, but they staunchly refuse to believe his words. At that moment, Jacob and Miranda arrive at the scene, and Jacob openly admits the reality of the program, as well as his intimate involvement in every step. He asks that they point their weapons at him instead, but Master Chief tells everyone that despite these revelations, the only objective at the moment is to recover the artifact. Persuaded by John, the two hostile Spartans lower their guns, and Vanek informs him that 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢 is most likely headed for a nearby hangar containing an impounded Covenant spacecraft. While the others chase after 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢, Kai leaves to stop 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲 from fleeing Reach. The Spartans make it to the hangar, but 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢 manages to fly off before they can get to her. Nearby, 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲's ship similarly begins taking off, but Kai manages to jump onto it before it can accelerate. She tears her way through its hull and confronts 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲, furiously asking for answers about her identity before her kidnapping. 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲's assistant tries to attack Kai, but she easily fends him off. Using this split-second distraction, 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲 flees into one of the ship's escape pods and launches away from Kai and the rapidly crashing ship. Kai tries to regain control of the vehicle, but due to the severe damage to it, she is unsuccessful and the ship crashes into the ground. Although the impact is quite harsh, Kai manages to survive. With 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢 on the loose, the UNSC redouble their efforts to find the elusive Covenant planet of Ras-Katska that she told them about. Remembering the Covenant prophecy 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢 had recited, John has a revelation on how the planet might have evaded their search. He has Cortana analyze the star system, and they discover that the planet is invisible due to multiple gravitational fields chaotically warping its light. Realizing the only way to see it is by going there directly, John receives permission from Admiral Parangoski to take his team on a covert mission to retrieve the Keystones. While the Spartans head out, 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲's escape pod is tracked down, and the Doctor is captured. She is brought back to HQ, where Miranda tells her that a military tribunal has deemed her too dangerous to imprison or exile, and so has sentenced her to death. A short while later, 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲 suddenly experiences a severe seizure. While medical personnel try to stabilize her condition, Miranda realizes that the symptoms on display are identical to those the child clones were designed to exhibit after they replaced the abducted Spartan kids. Grabbing the convulsing clone, Miranda seemingly asks her where the real Dr. 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐢 is, but the clone's body rapidly gives out and dies. As the Spartans travel to Ras-Katska, Cortana has a conversation with John during which she reveals that 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲's true purpose for implanting her into his brain was to eventually take full control over his body. John asks Cortana why she hasn't done it yet, and she replies that she no longer agrees with 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐲's notions that eliminating his humanity would make for a better future. A few moments later, the ship starts shaking, and they approach the star system's jumbled gravity field. Most of the ship's navigation systems go haywire, but Master Chief safely navigates the craft through the turbulent path, and the team arrives at the sacred Covenant planet. Using the ship's instruments, they detect an area with Covenant activity and land nearby. Stealthily approaching the site, they find out that it is a Covenant temple with the High Prophets inside. They quietly eliminate a few sentries and head in. But when the High Prophets have both keystones joined together, Master Chief is suddenly forced to stop in his tracks, out in the open. The others direct him to move, but he remains stuck in place and is spotted by a Covenant grunt, who raises the alarm. With their position compromised, the Spartans dig in their heels and prepare to face waves of Covenant forces, including the brute that seized the larger keystone from John on Eridanus. Attacked by elite soldiers from all sides, the Spartans fight back, but are soon overwhelmed. Seeing John on the brink of death, 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢 grabs the combined keystones and triggers a powerful energy wave that pushes the Covenant soldiers back and unveils a gigantic star map revealing the Halo's location. As a result of the keystone's activation, John loses control of his body and begins slowly walking towards 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢, despite his fellow Spartans yelling for his aid in the fight. While kneeling before the artifacts, John finds himself back on the Halo ring world with 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐲. He asks her to send them back, but she replies that she is never returning. He tries telling her that this isn't reality, but she refuses to let go and asks for him to stay with her. Desperate to free John, Kai shoots 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐲 in the chest, causing her to collapse and returning them both to reality. A grenade then knocks both Riz and Kai down, and with Vanek already out of the fight, Master Chief is left to fend for himself against overwhelming odds. Refusing to retreat without his Spartans and the Keystones, John asks Cortana to take over his body. Cortana hesitates, warning him that it may not be possible to bring him back, but he tells her to do it anyway, and that he trusts her. Just then, a powerful hit from the brute sends him flying, and as he slowly loses consciousness, Cortana accepts the responsibility and takes control. With Cortana in charge, Master Chief's body gets back up and starts shooting with unerring accuracy. Through her remote connection with the ship, Cortana brings it down and uses it to provide cover fire. The Spartans slowly start getting up to retreat to the ship, while Master Chief goes back to retrieve the Keystones. Kai shouts out a warning for him not to touch it, but he simply grabs it with no reaction from the object. He carries it back to the ship while Kai looks on in silence. With the full team back into the spacecraft, they quickly retreat to safety, while caring for a heavily wounded Riz. Meanwhile, sitting on a bench in the city of Manassas on Reach, the real Dr. 𝐒𝐬𝐲 writes her thoughts in her diary when a man approaches her and informs that a ship will be leaving soon, and she needs to be on it. At UNSC HQ, Miranda, Jacob, and Parangoski stand around a damaged control room and stare at a wanted poster of Dr. 𝐒𝐬𝐲. Back on the Spartan ship, Kai looks over at the inert Keystones and then heads to the front cabin where Master Chief is piloting the ship. She asks John if it's still him in there, but when he looks over at her, he doesn't reply.